What could push a top-tier lawyer to ditch Sean Diddy Combs right before the trial of his life? That's the question buzzing through the streets and social media after Anthony Ricco, a legal heavyweight who's faced down some of the world's most notorious figures, filed to walk away from Diddy's defense in February 2025. This isn't just any attorney bailing on a client. Ricco's the guy who helped Osama bin Laden's crew dodge death row. So for him to bolt now, something wild must be brewing behind the scenes. Diddy's already tangled in a mess of charges, sex trafficking, racketeering, you name it, with a trial looming in May 2025 that could sink his empire for good. Over 100 new claims have piled up since October 2024, and the pressure's only cranking higher. So why would a lawyer with Ricco's grit throw in the towel? He's not talking specifics, citing some cryptic attorney-client privilege, but the rumor mill's spinning fast. And it's pointing straight at Diddy's own family. Yeah, his sons, Christian and Justin Combs, have been lighting up headlines with their own chaos lately. From lawsuits to wild parties that sound like echoes of their dad's past. Could their reckless moves have tipped the scales, leaving Ricco no choice but to run? Or is there something darker lurking in the legal files that made even a hardened pro like him say, "I'm out"? This isn't just about a lawyer quitting. It's about a story that's unraveling faster than anyone expected. The answer might lie closer to home than you think, and trust me, it's about to get messy. Stick around, because what's coming next will have you questioning everything. A lawyer who faced down bin Laden's crew just walked away from Diddy, and people can't stop talking about it. Anthony Ricco, one of the sharpest legal minds in Diddy's corner, dropped a bombshell on February 20th, 2025, when he filed a motion in New York court to quit the defense team. His words were short but loaded. "Under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs." That's it. No juicy details, just a cryptic nod to attorney-client privilege and a quick exit. For a guy who's built a career on tackling the toughest cases, this move's got everyone's eyebrows raised. Ricco's no rookie. He's the kind of attorney who thrives in chaos. Back in the late 90s, he was part of the team defending Osama bin Laden's associates after the 1998 U.S. embassy bombings in Kenya and Tanzania. He took on Mohammed al-Ohali and Khalfan Khamis Mohammed, two guys tied to a terror plot that killed over 200 people and somehow turned death penalties into life sentences. That's not just skill, that's nerves of steel. He's handled hardened criminals, not just tabloid celebrities. So Diddy's case, sex trafficking and racketeering, should have been a walk in the park for him, right? Even if Diddy's found guilty, he's not facing a death sentence or decades behind bars like Ricco's past clients. So why bail now, with the trial just months away in May 2025? The timing's too weird to ignore. Ricco joined Diddy's team after his arrest in September 2024, alongside big names like Mark Agnifilo, and seemed ready to fight. Then, out of nowhere, he's gone. Some say it's a clash with other lawyers over strategy, but that doesn't add up. Ricco's too seasoned to flake over petty disagreements. Others whisper he saw something in the case files that made him bolt. Something so heavy even a guy who stared down terrorists couldn't stomach it. Whatever it is, he's not spilling, and that silence is screaming louder than any statement. Diddy's still got a defense squad, but losing Ricco feels like a crack in the armor. This isn't about a lawyer getting cold feet, it's about a pro who's seen it all suddenly saying, "Not this time." But this guy's no quitter, so what spooked him? Something tells me the next piece of this puzzle is going to turn heads, and it might be closer to Diddy's inner circle than anyone's ready to admit. Diddy's staring down a nightmare of charges, and it's only getting worse. Sean Combs got hauled in by the feds in September 2024, hit with a jaw-dropping indictment that reads like a crime novel. Sex trafficking, racketeering, and a laundry list of allegations tied to his wild lifestyle. The trial's set for May 2025, and right now, he's cooling his heels in a Brooklyn jail, denied bail twice because the judge thinks he's a flight risk. Or worse, this isn't some slap-on-the-wrist celebrity scandal. Prosecutors are painting him as the kingpin of a decade-long operation, accusing him of running what they call a criminal enterprise, fueled by drugs, coercion, and hush money. They've got tapes, witnesses, and a mountain of evidence from raids on his LA and Miami homes. Think hidden cameras, seized phones, and enough dirt to bury a reputation. And it's not slowing down. Since October 2024, over 100 new claims have rolled in, some from people saying they were minors when Diddy allegedly crossed lines. That's not just a legal headache, it's a full-on avalanche. His team's fighting back, calling it a witch hunt, But the pressure's cranking up with every fresh accusation. The indictment itself is brutal. Pages of stories about forced parties, coded freak-offs, and a network of enablers keeping it all quiet. Diddy's facing years behind bars if this sticks, maybe decades, though nothing close to the life sentences Ricco's old clients dodged. Still, losing a lawyer like Ricco at this stage is like a ship losing its captain mid-storm. The feds aren't playing. They've been building this case for years, tracking every move since at least 2016 when whispers of lawsuits first popped up. Cassie's 2023 filing was just the spark that lit the fuse. Now, with the trial creeping closer, every move's under a microscope, and Diddy's gotta be sweating. He's got other lawyers, sure. Mark Agnafilo's still leading the charge. But Ricco's exit feels like a signal something's off. Was it the weight of those 100-plus claims, the discovery files piling up, or maybe the chaos swirling around Diddy's own blood? Because while he's locked up, his family's out there making waves of their own, and it's starting to look like they're not helping his case one bit. And then there's his family, stirring the pot even more. Trust me, you're not ready for what's coming next. While Diddy's locked up, his sons are making headlines for all the wrong reasons. And the timing couldn't be worse. Christian and Justin Combs, the apples of Diddy's eye, have been lighting up the tabloids with a string of scandals that feel like they're ripped from their dad's playbook, just when he's fighting to stay out of a prison cell. Diddy got nabbed in September 2024, and ever since, his boys have been stumbling into trouble like they're auditioning for their own reality show gone wrong. First up, there's Christian, the older son who goes by King Combs. Back in April 2024, just months before Diddy's arrest, a woman named Grace O'Marcaigh slammed him with a lawsuit that's straight up chilling. She claims Christian assaulted her on a yacht in December 2022, alleging he pressured her into drinking spiked tequila and got handsy in ways that make your skin crawl. That case was already simmering when Diddy got cuffed, and her lawyers since said the arrest is the first step toward justice for victims, including her. Then there's Justin, the younger one, who's been less about lawsuits and more about reckless vibes. In 2024, he got popped for a DUI in LA, blowing past the legal limit and landing himself in handcuffs. Not a great look when your dad's facing a federal rap. On top of that, insiders say Justin's been throwing massive parties at rental spots, promising 20 people, but rolling in with 200, leaving trashed houses and angry landlords in his wake. Sound familiar? It's like a mini Diddy move echoing the wild nights tied to his dad's charges. And if that's not enough, the brothers nearly threw down with Ray J at a Halloween party in October 2024. Chris Brown had to step in to cool it off. All this mess unfolded right as Diddy's legal storm hit Category 5 status, with Ricco bailing in February 2025. Coincidence? Maybe. But it's hard to ignore how their chaos lines up with the cracks in Diddy's defense. Christian's lawsuit could drag the family name deeper into the mud, especially if it ties back to the freak-off vibe the feds are pinning on Diddy. Justin's antics, meanwhile, paint a picture of a kid who's not exactly lying low while his dad's under fire. Together, they're a double dose of trouble, and people are starting to whisper, did their screw-ups make Ricco's job impossible? The guys handled terrorists without blinking, so what's a little family drama? Unless, of course, it's not so little, unless it's tangled up in the case in ways we can't see yet. Whatever's going on, Christian and Justin aren't doing their dad any favors, and the spotlight's only getting hotter. Could their chaos have pushed Ricco over the edge? Stick around because the deeper we dig, the uglier it gets. A yacht, a spiked drink, and a chilling accusation. Christian Combs is in deep, and it's throwing fuel on Diddy's already blazing legal fire. Picture this. It's December 28, 2022, pre-dawn hours on a luxury yacht chartered by the Combs family. Grace O'Marcaigh, a steward working the gig, says Christian, Diddy's eldest son, turned a routine night into a nightmare. According to her lawsuit, filed in April 2024, it started innocently enough. Christian poured her a shot of tequila and insisted she take it, even though she was on duty. She sipped it to be polite, but then things flipped fast. She claims his vibe shifted like a switch got flipped, and he went from friendly to sinister. Grace alleges he grabbed her arm, pinned her on the sun deck, and forced another shot down her throat. One she swears was laced with something sketchy. What came next is the stuff that sticks with you. She says Christian started kissing her neck and face, groping her legs, chest, and private areas, ignoring her pleas to stop. She finally broke free, but the damage was done. She's suing for assault, harassment, and emotional distress, painting a scene that feels eerily close to the freak-off stories tied to Diddy's indictment. Fast forward to September 2024, when Diddy got arrested and Grace's lawyer, Rodney Diggs, didn't hold back. He called it the first step toward justice for his client and others, hinting more victims might step up. The timing's brutal. Christian's case was already brewing when the feds swooped in, and now it's another spotlight on the Combs name. Here's where it gets messy. Insiders say Ricco, who ditched Diddy in February 2025, might have seen discovery files linking Christian's mess to his dad's charges. The indictment mentions a network of enablers and coerced parties. Could Christian's actions fit that mold? Grace claims there's audio proof from the yacht, and if it's part of the Fed's haul, it might have landed on Ricco's desk. Imagine a lawyer who stared down terrorists cracking open a file and finding that a son's alleged assault tangled up in a father's empire of crime. It's not hard to see why he'd nope out. Christian's denied it all, but the lawsuit's still alive, and the parallels to Diddy's world are uncanny. Drugs, power, allegations of force. It's a dark cloud hanging over an already stormy case, and it's got people wondering, did this push Ricco past his limit? He's not talking, but the whispers are loud. Christian's not the only one stirring chaos, though. His brother's been busy too. But that's not the only mess piling up. Justin's got his own brand of trouble brewing, and it's about to make this family saga even wilder. Justin's turning rentals into wreckage and nearly throwing punches, while his dad's fighting for his freedom. Diddy's younger son, Justin Combs, isn't facing a lawsuit like his brother Christian, but he's carving out his own lane of chaos that's got people side-eyeing the whole family. Let's start with the DUI. In 2024, Justin got pulled over in LA, breathalyzer screaming past the legal limit. He was cuffed, booked, and let go on bail, but that's not the kind of headline you want when your dad's locked up on federal charges. It's reckless, sure, but it's the party stories that really echo Diddy's world. Word is, Justin's been renting high-end spots, promising landlords a chill 20-person gathering, then rolling in with 200+, leaving trashed furniture, broken glass, and furious owners in his wake. One broker spilled to the press that these blowouts were a pattern: small promises, big disasters, and a vibe that screams, rules don't apply. Sound familiar? It's like a light version of the freak-offs the feds are pinning on Diddy, minus the darker edges. Then there's the Halloween 2024 showdown that almost went down. Justin and Christian confronted Ray J at a party, reportedly heated over something Ray said about Diddy. Fists didn't fly, Chris Brown stepped in like a peacemaker, but it's another flash of the Combs boys acting like they've got nothing to lose. All this hits while Diddy's been behind bars since September 2024, with Ricco jumping ship in February 2025. The timing's too tight to ignore. Justin's antics aren't just bad PR, they're a neon sign flashing, like father, like son, at the worst possible moment. Prosecutors are already framing Diddy as the head of a wild, lawless empire. Justin's DUI and trashed rentals could easily slide into that narrative, even if they're not in the indictment. And if discovery files Ricco saw mention these blowouts, or worse, link them to Diddy's orbit, it's not hard to guess why a lawyer might flinch. This isn't a terrorist plot Ricco's used to defending. It's a family spiraling out of control, and he might have decided the mess wasn't worth touching. Justin's not accused of anything as heavy as Christian, but his chaos adds weight to the pile. Picture Ricco flipping through pages of evidence, yacht assaults, party wreckage, a dad in cuffs, and thinking, this is a circus I can't tame. Diddy's still got lawyers in his corner, but Justin's freewheeling ways aren't helping the innocent mogul story they're trying to sell. It's a 1-2 punch with Christian's allegations, and the family's looking more like a liability every day. And what Ricco saw in the files might tie it all together. Because if Justin's parties are even a footnote in this case, the next twist could be a game changer. Whispers say Ricco ran when he peeked at the evidence, and it's explosive. Anthony Ricco's exit in February 2025 isn't just a lawyer dipping out. It's a signal something massive hit his desk, and the chatter's pointing straight at the discovery files in Diddy's case. These aren't your average court docs. They're the Fed's treasure chest, packed with everything they've dug up since raiding Diddy's LA and Miami pads in March 2024. We're talking seized phones, hidden camera footage, witness statements, all the raw guts of a decade-long investigation into sex trafficking and racketeering. Ricco, a guy who stared down terror plots without breaking a sweat, saw something in there that made him say, "I'm done." What could rattle a pro like that? Insiders are buzzing it's tied to Diddy's sons, Christian and Justin, and their messes might have spilled into the pages. Think about it. Christian's yacht assault lawsuit from 2022. Grace O'Marque claims there's audio proof. If that tape's in the Fed's hands, Ricco could have heard a son crossing lines in real time, maybe even linking back to Diddy's alleged freak-offs. Then there's Justin, trashing rentals with 200-person ragers. If those parties pop up in witness accounts, or worse, if they're tied to Diddy's network of enablers, it's a family affair Ricco didn't sign up for. One source close to the case hinted Ricco got the full discovery drop in early 2025, and whatever he read was bad enough to make him bolt, privilege be DMN'd. This isn't about money or strategy clashes. Ricco's defended the indefensible and won. It's personal, like he didn't want his name near this mess anymore. The indictment already sketches a web of coercion, drugs, and hush money. Could the sons be threads in that tapestry? Maybe Christian's alleged assault fits the pattern of forced encounters, or Justin's blowout supplied the vibe Diddy's accused of orchestrating. If Ricco saw hard proof, texts, calls, videos, he might have realized this wasn't a winnable fight, not without sinking his own rep. And here's the kicker. Some say Hollywood's deeper in this than we know, with big names tied to Diddy's circle. Ricco's defended Osama's crew, sure, but a celebrity scandal this tangled with kids dragging it down further? That's a different beast. He's not talking, but his silence screams he found a line he wouldn't cross. Diddy's still got lawyers, but losing Ricco feels like the first domino falling. And if the sons are in those files, it's a bombshell that could blow the case wide open. But how bad could it really be? Bad enough to make a legal legend walk, and that's just the start of where this story's headed. Did Christian and Justin just hand the prosecution a gift? That's the question hanging heavy as Diddy's trial looms in May 2025, and Ricco's sudden exit in February only fans the flames. Let's break it down. Christian's got a lawsuit claiming he assaulted a woman on a yacht, spiked drinks, groping, the works, and Justin's out there racking up a DUI and turning rentals into party war zones. This isn't just family drama, it's a 1-2 punch landing while Diddy's cuffed in Brooklyn, facing charges that could lock him up for decades. Ricco, a lawyer who's danced with the devil and won, didn't flinch at terrorists, so why ditch now? One theory's screaming loud. Those discovery files? If they've got Christian's alleged assault tape or whispers of Justin's blowouts tied to Diddy's criminal enterprise, it's a legal nightmare. The feds are already painting Diddy as the puppet master of a wild, coercive world. His sons acting reckless could be Exhibit A of a family out of control. Maybe Ricco saw their names in black and white and thought, this ain't worth the fight. But here's the flip side. Maybe it's not that deep. Christian's case is separate, still grinding through civil court, and Justin's DUI and parties aren't in the indictment. Ricco could have bailed for other reasons. Strategy splits, ethical quirks, or just not vibing with Diddy's vibe. Still, the timing's too perfect. The Suns' chaos kicked into high gear post-arrest, and Ricco split right after discovery dropped. Coincidence? Doubt it. Even if they're not in the files, the PR hit's brutal. Diddy's team wants him as the wronged mogul, not the dad of kids mirroring his alleged sins. Justin trashing houses and Christian facing assault claims don't scream innocent family. They're a prosecutor's dream for jury optics. Imagine the closing argument. Look at the Combs clan, lawless from top to bottom. Ricco might have seen that coming and bolted to save his own skin. Legal impact's murkier. Unless the sons are witnesses or co-conspirators, their messes might not sway the verdict. But perception, that's where they're sinking him. Diddy's got Mark Agnifilo and others holding the line, but losing Ricco feels like a crack in the dam, and the sons aren't plugging it. They're poking holes. Did they push him out directly, with some smoking gun in the evidence? Or did their noise just make Ricco's job feel like herding cats in a storm? Either way, they're not helping, and Diddy's empire's wobbling harder because of it. The family's loyalty might be fierce, but it's starting to look like a curse. Or is there more we're not seeing yet? Something tells me the shadows in this story are hiding a twist that'll drop jaws. One lawyer's out, two sons are wild. Has Diddy's empire hit a breaking point? Anthony Ricco's bolt from the defense team in February 2025 isn't just a plot twist. It's a neon sign flashing trouble for Sean Combs as his May trial nears. This guy's handled cases that'd make most run screaming, yet something in Diddy's mess made him walk. The feds have him pinned for sex trafficking and racketeering, with over 100 new claims piling on since October 2024. And then there's Christian and Justin, turning chaos into a family tradition. Christian's yacht assault allegations and Justin's DUI-plus-party spree aren't just headlines. They're a mirror to Diddy's own charges, reflecting a vibe the prosecution's itching to sell. Did Ricco see their names in the discovery files, tapes, texts, something tying them to the madness, and decide he couldn't touch it? Or was their reckless spotlight enough to make him think, this ship's sinking fast? Either way, the Combs boys aren't playing the quiet support role. They're loud, messy, and maybe costing Diddy more than he can afford. The legal fight's still on with other attorneys, but Ricco's exit feels like the first shoe dropping in a storm of fallout. Family's supposed to lift you up, but here, it's looking like Christian and Justin might be the weights dragging Diddy down, intentionally or not. Could their loyalty, twisted into scandals, be the crack that splits his legacy apart? It's a question that lingers, and the truth's still hiding in the shadows. Tell us what you think. Did the Suns mess it all up, or is Ricco running from something bigger? Drop your take in the comments because this story's far from over.